All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this edition of the Corona Cast. This is your boy Q, and it has been a while since my last stream, but I am here, God willing. And the title of today's episode is "So Close Yet So Far Away." Some of the things that have been going on with Corona lately is that our country is really lagging behind other countries right now. Uh, we are seeing record numbers of increases in cases, uh, hospitalizations, deaths, and those numbers should be trending downward, but they're not. They're going up consistently. Every day you're hearing another record being broken in another state, and it shouldn't be the case with us. You know, this is the United States of America, and we should be leading the charge. But in fact, we're not. And a lot of that has to do with freedoms. You know, we're real big about not having our freedoms being infringed upon. We want to do what we want to do. And as a result, we're keeping this thing going on much longer than it should have to. You know, you got other countries around the world, you know, who are getting back to some sense of normalcy, but, you know, we kind of jumped ahead and tried to open up things way too soon. And as a result, we end up basically shooting ourselves in the foot. You know, and the virus is continuing to spread, continuing to grow, and we're no closer to being out of the woods than we were back in, you know, January, February, March, when this thing really started kicking off. You know, and the longer that this continues, the worse this is going to be for us. You know, and at this point in time, we need strong leadership. We need our president, governors, mayors to really take a hard stance, you know, and really require people to wear masks in every city in America. Um, and if it, you know, upsets and offends certain people's sense of freedom, then too bad right now, because what we're doing is we're hurting ourselves. And, you know, sometimes people don't always know what's best for them, or we relying on folks to do the right thing and wear a mask and wash their hands, what have you. We're trusting that people are going to continue to do the right thing, and we're gambling with human life in the process. So things have got to change. We have got to take a hard stance and really buckle down and make it a mandatory thing for folks to wear masks. You know, and some, you know, establishments are starting to take it upon themselves to make it mandatory for customers and stuff to wear masks, and their employees. You know, I know Walmart, I forget the date, but very soon, if not as soon as tomorrow, Monday, they're going to make it mandatory for anybody shopping in their stores. You have to come in there with a mask, or you cannot shop. And I've seen some smaller retailers do the same thing, but they're taking matters in their own hands because our government's not doing it. You know, where I live in the great state of Georgia, there's the mayor of the city of Atlanta and the governor of Georgia, you know, kind of having a counter, different points of view on the mask wearing, where the mayor made it mandatory for everyone in the city of Atlanta to wear a mask, whereas the governor is like, you know, the people don't really have to follow that because he did not put that order in place. So you kind of have the state versus the city, which, you know, we all know that the state has more authority than the city, but it's not a good look, you know. And I feel like we're favoring saving the economy at the cost of human life. And everyone knows that, you know, opening these businesses back and you know, trying to put things back in full swing because we don't want to go under economically, which, you know, that's not a good thing, of course, but human life is more precious than that, is more valuable than that. and we have to use some common sense here, and do what is actually right. But we're not doing that. And as a result, we're finding ourselves falling further and further behind the curve. And things have got to change, and some things, to speak about, like the movie industry, they're starting to suffer because they cannot open these theaters. There's no way to properly social distance in a movie theater. A movie theater is supposed to be a packed house. It's supposed to be crowded. It's supposed to be where people commune together, to enjoy a film. But how masked up and keeping proper spacing in a dark theater, and different things that's opening back up, like skating rinks, and a lot of the Six Flags where I'm at is starting to open back up. I'm curious to see how to use social distance on a roller coaster, or places that are supposed to be known for having large crowds. How do you social distance and keep people safe in those types of environments? And then we have schools supposed to be opening back up out here in Georgia in August, probably like mid-August. How do you keep the children safe? How do you keep, young kids from taking masks off or telling them they have to wear masks all day long? And, a lot of them are probably not taking, Corona seriously, so they could take the mask off and pull pranks and, just do things that kids do. And as a result, that's another way the thing could spread. You have teachers that some of them are up in age, so you can cause them to catch it, bring it back to their loved ones. So it's really a hard thing to get a handle on, because it's hard to control individuals' behaviors, and that's the thing. So with, at least if there's, this is mandatory and there are consequences for folks who are not wearing their masks, maybe we can cut down on some of it. Now, it's not going to stop every person. There are going to be people that are going to rebel, or just, I'm not wearing a mask no matter what. And you're going to have those. But for those who don't want to, get a citation, go to jail, or what have you, you may turn those people. And those folks might put masks on, which means we're saving lives. So we have to get better. We're giving into old ways, and I'm a man that likes his freedoms. Okay. I like to be free, freedom of speech, be able to do what I want to do. But these are times where those particular freedoms are costing other people their lives. They're not getting us, back to where we were, in December of last year. We're not back there. And in reality, truth is, what the world is changing. We're really not going to be back to what we used to be. And we have to adjust and adapt to those particular things, that we are actually going to be a different animal, a different thing, and we have to accept that. That's what's happening now. It's changed, and from what I'm hearing, that, there's thought and belief that this may be a seasonal thing. So it may come back every year, similar to how the flu comes back, and this is something that we have to learn to live with and, adapt to and adjust to. And that's just really what it is at the end of the day. We just have to adjust to it. But also, folks, I had a scare not too long ago, just recently. Thought that I might have come down with it myself, and, had some symptoms and things, and got tested, and thank God, my results came back negative. But, I've been doing a lot of the things that I'm supposed to do: wash my hands, wear a mask. But I'm human. There are times where, it's hard to breathe. So you may take it off for a second, or pull it down for a minute, or touch your face, because it's hard to remember not to touch your face when you're in live action, when you're living and doing things. So, and by the grace of God, I didn't have it. But it's just like that. It's just that simple. It's just that easy, rather, to expose yourself. Even when you're doing everything in your power not to, you can still get it, but you still have to try, you know, to do the right things. Try to wear your masks, keep your hands washed, keep your distancing from people. You know, it's not, it's counter to how humans are, supposed to operate. We're social creatures. We're accustomed to being close to each other, close proximity when we talk and, making contact with one another. That's kind of what humans do. So we're kind of retraining our brains to behave in a manner that is counter to who we are. But we have to do it in order to get back to some sense of normalcy, you know. But I do not believe it'll ever be back to what we used to be because it's out there now, and also I'm noticing a lot of retailers are shutting down. Like, out here where I am, we got some JC Penney's shutting down, Sears have shut down. A lot of these large box locations are starting to shut down, and what we're seeing is the Amazons and a lot of these Wayfairs and a lot of these online retailers are starting to really dominate the market now, and the delivery companies like UPS and FedEx and even the Postal Service, those places are starting to rise because there's becoming a larger demand for products and things to be delivered directly to the home. Same thing with a lot of these restaurants that are surviving. They're relying on the DoorDashes and Uber Eats and Grub Hubs, and everybody's got some type of delivery service that they're operating off of because a lot of people don't want to come out of their homes. You got the shopping things being done for you at the Walmarts and different supermarkets where they'll shop for you, and you can do a lot of curbside pickups where you don't have to go inside of an establishment. Everybody will bring it to your car. So this is the world that we're trending toward. I feel like we were headed down this path anyway, but COVID has rapidly accelerated the process. It has sped up the trajectory where we were headed already, but it sped it up. So now we're this is what the future is. This is what it is. And like in the case of my child, her school looks like, at least for the beginning of the school year, they're offering remote learning again, like they did toward the end of the school year, where they don't actually report to class. They do everything online. And, I see that being the way it's going to be, going forward. And we have to adjust, you know. Now, how is that going to affect a home where, there's a single parent home and that parent has to go to work? I'm not sure how that works, how that's supposed to be handled, but you got to think about the safety of the child in that regard, sending them to a school where there's so many variables that you can't control, crowded lunchrooms, school buses, places like that are places where the virus can really, spread and affect multiple people, so I don't have the answers. There's a lot of things that are going on and a lot of things that need to be done. So no, I don't have all the answers for what we should be doing, but there are a lot of people a lot smarter than me that are decision makers that are out there that have to come up with solutions, to this problem. But we are America. We're known for advancements. We're known, for figuring things out. We have to get back to that basic, that part of who we are, but until then, if we, decide on being, continue being stubborn, we're just going to hold ourselves back from ever getting to that place to really, embracing our new normal, but that's where we are, people. That's exactly where we are. And I know, for a lot of people, the quarantining and the isolation, it's tough. It's tough. Like I said before, we're social creatures, but people are adapting. There are people who are dating through Zoom and, for the single folks that's out there, or you invest in your home. Like, for like me and my wife, we're trying to invest in our home, invest in ourselves, and make home the place we want to hang out. It's not easy. It's just a tough transition, but that's what has to be done. You want to be able to feel safe. You want to be able to feel like, you're not exposing yourself and putting yourself at risk all the time, you know. And I applaud, the Walmarts and the other retailers that's out there that are taking those steps to make things mandatory for shoppers, and their employees to wear masks. It's important, and our government should take their cues from them and start doing this. Let's save lives, man. Let's save some lives, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And we should be, as Americans, we should be embarrassed that we're not leading the world. We're lagging behind the rest of the world in fighting this virus. This is not who we are. This is not what the greatest country on earth is supposed to be like, or how we're supposed to handle ourselves. So let's get our act together, y'all. Let's talk to our neighbors, and in the proper way. Of course, we can't force anything on people, but hey, man, it may not just be the life you save, may not be your own. It may be someone else's. So putting that mask on helps somebody else. And also, remember people to stay hydrated. That's one of the things that when I had my doctor's appointment, which was done by video, one of the things she said to me was to stay on your vitamin C to help build up your immune system and to stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water, get proper rest. And one of the most important things is if you don't feel well, stay home. I know you hear it a lot. You see it on highway billboards and things of that nature, but there's truth to that. If you're not feeling well, and it's hard to distinguish these days between the flu, a cold, an allergy, or COVID. You just don't know because they have a lot of the same type of symptoms. And without being tested, you just don't know what you're dealing with. So until you can get a test, the safest and best thing you can do, and is stay home. And I know that economically, for some people that's it's hard. Like I had to do the same thing, and I didn't have any personal or sick time, so was a financial loss for me to stay home for this past week. But I got to believe by the grace of God, He's going to get me through it. And me and my family going to come out of it. But believe me, people, I woke up, Monday morning not feeling well and wondering, okay, should I just go? Because I got to take care of my family. And I'm sitting there at the edge of my bed, like trying to weigh the options of like, family, take care of my family, go to work, or put somebody else potentially at risk to make a dollar. And as a Christian, it just didn't sit well for me to operate in that fashion. So I chose not to do it. I chose to stay home. So that's kind of where we are. That's exactly where we are. And what I ended up having to do was to stay home. But I'm not going to drag it on, people. This is where we are. We all know what we need to do. We got to be responsible. We got to save lives. That's the name of the game, y'all. Saving lives. See the water over there, stay hydrated. Get your vitamin C. Get your rest. Stay home if you're not feeling well. Do the things that you need to do. And remember, the life that you save may not just be your own. It may be somebody else's. So keep that in mind at all times, people. With that said, I'm going to end the stream. But remember, wash your hands. Nasty.